are not about getting into a dress for an occasion this summer. Okay? And that's unfortunate because that's what we really a lot of times want. Is I want to have, I have a reunion coming up and I want to look great for it. Or I just want to feel good and I want to feel good now. Because as I look around the room, not everybody here needs to lose weight. Okay? Some people do, some people don't. But there are various goals, but they're not instant. Usually what I tell people is, how long did it take you to get into the current way that you are right now? Like whether it be overweight or whether it be fatigue or no energy. How long did you get that way overnight? No. So it's probably not going to be fixed overnight. And in fact, anything that, I'm actually a little bit suspect of things that work too quickly. I had a patient the other day tell me, I lost 30 pounds in the last 2 weeks, and I'm like, whoa, you need a colonoscopy. There's something going, something doesn't set right with me about that. And so when I say look big picture, think about the rest of your life. Not am I going to be where I want to be for this event that's going to happen in August, but where am I going to be when, let's say, I don't know how, if you're 30, where are you going to be when you're 40, when you're 50, when you're 60, when you're 70? You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm not concerned about how fast something happens. I'm concerned about how long it happens for you, right? Are you with me so far? Mm-hmm. All right, so I'm going to give you really 2 simple clues and let me know what's going on and if you're with me. So if you understand or if you get what I'm saying, just kind of do like this. And if you disagree with what I'm saying, you think I'm full of crap, just go like that. And then that'll help me all know those are those are good signs for me that we're on the same page. Big picture. Okay, where am I going to be? My grandmother is 95 years old. She lives alone. She cooks, she cleans, she does everything for herself. She went on a big trip last year with family and walked over the national parks, right? And she, that's where I want to be, right? And so my health habits now are a down payment on my future. Okay? The things that I do today are a down payment on where I'm going to be when I retire and where I'm going to be when I'm 70, 80. So let's start thinking big picture. So I say this all as a preface to what I'm about to say to you. Okay? So let's get the right expectations of what I'm going to talk about tonight. What I'm going to talk about tonight is not about quick fixes. What I'm going to talk about tonight is what's going to make you feel good for the rest of your life. All right? So I want to touch on one thing before I then get into the other things that I'm going to talk about. The issue of where I get energy from, and people come in all the time, and what do I need to take to give me more energy? What do I need to do to give me more energy? And what I tell people is this. Now, again, understand, and I'll keep in the back of your mind that I understand that there are some of you who are dealing with medical challenges that makes it more complicated than the simple things that I'm going to talk about tonight. So don't get offended when I make it simplistic. And you go, hey, yeah, but I've got, okay, I understand. So understand that I get that. But in general, here's what the body needs to feel good. And this is what I tell everybody, okay? Think of it like that chair that you may or may not be able to see very well up there, okay? 4 legs, right? When sitting on 4 legs, it sits pretty stable. That guy right there looks like he needs a spotter, okay? But in general, long before doctors ever existed, the body and mind and spirit, they needed about 4 things. You need a proper amount of sleep, okay? You need regular exercise. You need proper nutrition, proper fuel going in your body. And your inner spiritual, emotional life needs to be in order. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Now, what happens when you start taking away any of those aspects of your life? Well, little by little, you start to feel imbalanced, right? Your energy starts to drain. People all the time, what can I take, to feel more energetic? When I start talking to them, well, because of their job or their family responsibilities or whatever, it's not an accusation, it just is what it is. Getting 3-4 hours of sleep in it. And wonder why I'm drained. As residents, my wife is here. She biked over for the occasion, and so I told her, bring your bike because then we can bike home together. And I'll tell you which one she is. And so when we were both doctors. When we were residents, there was a lot of talk about resident sleep hours. And they did a study actually where they took residents who were getting an average of 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. And then they took people and gave them alcohol. And they both took tests, cognitive tests. And they found that people who were legally drunk performed as well as people who were sleep deprived, getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep a night. Okay? So, you know, and may not even realize that, because just like an alcoholic who sort of just functions at a level their whole life, that just becomes normal to them, don't even realize they're impaired. You can feel that same way when you're not getting proper sleep. So, you know, think about sleep, and then think about proper eating and nutrition habits, and then think about getting an, you know, proper amount of exercise every day, and then think about, oh, what about my emotions and my inner life and my, you know, beliefs and my, you know, all those spiritual aspects. What happens when you, how many people, what do you think the percentage of New Yorkers is that gets all those things in order? It's rare, right? Most people, in fact, are struggling to balance on one leg. Most people are not getting enough sleep, because in New York we just don't, you know, go to bed late, get up early. Most people are not making sure they get correct nutrition habits. Exercise, forget about it. You know, you're telling me I got to exercise, I have children. I have, you know, I have a job, I have this and that, and I understand all of those constraints. So everything that I say tonight, and understand, this is why it's not a secret. The fact is that the body has needed these things since the beginning of time, long before doctors ever existed. And it needs the same thing now. Okay, so aside from other challenges that you may have, if you're not getting these things, you're not going to feel right. Okay? Understand that that's not a judgment statement, it just is what it is, again, right? Now you might say, but I have this, this, and this interfering. I get that. I understand. But somehow or another, we got to figure out how to do it, and it might be very challenging for you. But still, the need is the same. And when that's not there, you're not going to feel right. Okay? So that's sort of an overarching, so the theme for the rest of what I'm going to talk about is not so much talking about that, what I just said, but it's going to incorporate it. And I'm going to talk more, the rest of the talk is going to have a lot more to do with fitness, overall fitness. And I say fitness, I don't say weight loss. Okay? Because while weight loss may be the goal for many, in general, what you want is to be fit and to feel healthy and to feel energetic, right? And the weight loss will come if that is necessary. But you have to get all the things in order. So all that said, you can go